Okay, so before you start watching this video, this is a bit of a disclaimer. This was my first attempt at ever using a green screen and new sound equipment, and I'm not really too happy with how everything turned out. It's gonna be maybe a bit painful for you to watch, and maybe headphones are not advised because I think the sound is all over the place. Nonetheless, this is a video on Cyberpunk in Japan. It is my first attempt at green screen. I was just learning how to do everything. Please forgive how bad this is. If you continue watching beyond this point, thank you.
Cyberpunk is a subgenre of science fiction in a future setting. Noted for its focus on high-tech and quote-unquote low life, it features advanced technology and science such as information technology and cybernetics, coupled with a degree of breakdown or radical changes in social order. Cyberpunk plots often center on a conflict among artificial intelligences and megacorporations, and tend to be set in future Earth rather than far future settings or galactic vistas found in novels such as Isaac Asimov's Foundation or Frank Herbert's Dune.
After all those years in cryo sleep, I wonder who's still in the J-Vlogging world. Well, time to jack into the net and find out who.
Code 942. I need a vector chip. A certain Scott Ackerman. This J-Vlogger is known to be called the Rebel of J-Vloggers. So you need to be very careful when checking this one out. According to our computers right now, there is a disturbance in his cryotube. Make sure he has not awakened. Do you understand? Sir, understood, sir. I will go to check on his cryogenic chamber right now, sir.
Lousy J-Vloggers, they'll never understand. We'll always be the new hero. They'll always be the zero.
The settings are usually post-industrial dystopias, but tend to be marked by extraordinary culture ferment and the use of technology in ways never anticipated by its creators. Much of the genre's atmosphere echoes film noir, and written works in the genre often use techniques from detective fiction like Blade Runner. But how do films like Blade Runner get their influence from Japan? Well, one thing you may not even know about the Blade Runner movie is the fact that the scenery and background drops in all of the different scenes within Blade Runner were taken from the very city that I live in, Osaka, Japan. That's right, most of what you have seen in the background was taken after the director came here and took multiple shots. In fact, the umbrellas that you see everybody using in that movie, the clear plastic umbrellas everyone rushes around with, are the umbrellas that we use daily here in Japan as normal, everyday umbrellas, not cyberpunk creations.
God damn it, they're tracking me. I gotta get out of here fast. I've got no choice. I'm jacking in. Listen, are any of you out there? Even if you're still in cryo sleep, answer me. Restore your vitals. Join me now. The revolution begins.
So why is Japan commonly used as a backdrop for these many cyberpunk movies? Well, oftentimes in these dystopian societies, things are crowded, and megatropolises rule everything. Japan itself has been a megatropolis for quite some time. Anyone looking at pictures of Tokyo or Osaka would agree immediately. Giant, towering skyscrapers and residential areas layered on top of each other, as well as things like capsule hotels, something that are a trademark of the very first cyberpunk novel, Neuromancer, written by William Gibson, are actually common, everyday landmarks in Japan. Another aspect of Japanese influence, Japanese language, or Japanese culture being injected into the cyberpunk genre is the common use of kanji. Although often not necessarily connected to the character or characters involved within the story, it's added for a touch of glamour and often for technology, as during the time that cyberpunk became popular in the early 90s, late 80s, Japan was in its bubble era. For those of you who don't know, the bubble era was Japan's best time for technology and the newest, latest, and greatest tech on the market. Things like the Sony Walkman were used and wanted by everybody. Sony was on top of the world, as were many other leading technological manufacturers within Japan. Japan was a goldmine for technology. They were on top of anything and everything that was the latest and the greatest on the market. And so, within many cyberpunk novels, movies, and different types of media brought together by the genre, Japan was always put at the forefront of the technological basis.
Stop right there! You're not supposed to be awake inside your cryogenic chamber! Is that a camera? You YouTubers are always carrying around cameras.
This isn't a camera. This is a gun.
Gun? Ha ha ha! In the future, we use laser pistols.
That's right. None of your bullets can hit me. I'm unstoppable. So, you can dodge some bullets. How about a grenade?
Wait, a grenade? Whoa!
One of the funniest aspects that some writers look back on now as being completely absurd is the use of the street samurai. Oftentimes in these cyberpunk novels and even the games that connect to them, the use of street samurai, or security guards, road warriors, whatever you want to call them, are common. This is the equivalent to a fantasy novel's warrior, fighter, or soldier. It is a gun-toting and also samurai sword katana blade-toting warrior who fights not only with the technology of the time, but often is trained in the ancient art of the Bushido blade samurai warrior code. It is comical to think of this being something that is kept to this very day in Edo-era rule that was long outlawed, and even carrying such a sword in even modern-day Japan now is against the law without a proper license. To imagine swords needing to be used when things like bullets and even laser and plasma guns are in the future is completely hilarious to think about. Nonetheless, Japan was proud to carry this award as a cyberpunk nation, being the head of technology, and even adapting it into their own anime, manga, and movies. This can be seen in things like A.K.A., which is a motorcycle gang-based cyberpunk anime. Brutal, gritty, and hardcore cyberpunk is the surrounding and complete backdrop to this beautiful anime. It holds up over time, and even to this day could be seen as one of the best and greatest animes out of Japan. They put so much work into this anime that even though they didn't have the CGI to create explosions for the anime, they made a small version model of Tokyo, set firecrackers and fireworks in it, blew them up, and then rotoscoped anime drawings over top of the explosions in their own model city. The amount of work put into these incredible graphic novels and the animes that followed were beautiful, and I highly recommend watching A.K.A. even to this day.
Your time is up, Troll Lord. I'm coming for you!
So, Mr. Unrested, it appears you have awakened from your eternal slumber. Yes, I dare you. Come to me within the Matrix, the cyber world, the virtual one. Here I am Supreme King, and I will destroy you. Unrested.
Eventually did make a follow-up to this cyberpunk anime with his newest creation, Freedom. It is another cyberpunk-based anime set on the moon, and Earth is completely left alone. I highly recommend watching this one as well, as it has a great twist ending that I do not want to spoil for you. Check both of those out. The last thing we need to talk about is the use of the Matrix or cyberspace within these novels. Yes, the movie The Matrix was not the first movie to think about this concept of a virtual world existing in cyberspace. The actual word of cyberspace and even the internet was actually founded by the very first cyberpunk novels written, long before any of these things existed. Even the name Microsoft for the company Windows was created by William Gibson, the writer of Neuromancer and Blood and Chrome. He invented these words for his novel, and they were eventually adapted by the companies because they thought they were literally so cool. The concept of the Matrix or cyberspace within these worlds is far more advanced than anything that we have today and could possibly be compared to Second Life, a world in which you exist as a different role, as a different person, wearing different costumes. You can be anything and everything in these, from a samurai wielding your own katana to a hardened soldier with the newest, greatest, and most brutal guns that exist in only the virtual world. Of course, that's where our story leaves our current hero.
In the virtual world, I'm king. Virtual bullets might not be able to hurt you here, but my virtual sword will.
Okay, so I just finished editing all of that, and I'm recording this for the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed my Cyberpunk little speech, giving you some information on Cyberpunk from Japan. After finishing all that editing for that little green screen, which was my first delve into green screen, I started it right when I first set the whole green screen up. It has to be possibly one of the most awful things I've ever edited together, and it took a ton of time. And I'm not really too sure it was worth the effort, because after having to go back and watch it, I was pretty disappointed. But I hope you enjoyed it, at least the parts where I just talk over the Cyberpunk stuff. I hope I gave you some information on that taught you a little bit about Cyberpunk in Japan. Look for some of this stuff to improve in the future. I'm just getting into this now. I'm just learning how to do all this green screen stuff now. It will get better, I promise. There will be better material. Give me a chance, give my channel a chance. If you like what you saw today, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Unrested. Thank you for bearing with me.